The fluorescent lights in the hospital room flicker overhead, making me squint. The phone in my hand still bears the blurry traces of my mother's video call. Her voice echoes in my ears. "Don't you dare expect us to cancel our plans again, Elina. These tickets have been with us for 3 months, for the Leonard Cohen tribute concert." Her harsh, commanding tone was filled with that familiar anger I often heard as a child. When I hang up and drop the phone onto the bed, my hands tremble, my palms coated in cold sweat. Pain in my abdomen sharpens, as if someone is scraping inside me with a blunt knife. But this physical agony is nothing compared to the wound my mother's indifferent gaze has carved into me. I'm Elina Voss. I'm 34 years old. I live in a small apartment in Berlin with my 2-year-old twins Luca and Mila. Today is December 24th, 2025, Christmas Eve. Normally, this date should mean streets adorned with lights and people embracing one another. But for me, here in this hospital room in Frankfurt, everything is gray and cold. My appendix has ruptured and the doctors say I need emergency surgery. Nurse Sabine scribbles something on a monitor in the corner while my twins play quietly on the floor. Luca bangs his blue plush bear against the ground, and Mila spins the wheels of a toy car with her finger. Their innocence only amplifies the storm raging inside me. When I picked up the phone, calling my family was a last resort. 6 months ago, I lost my husband, Marcus, in a train accident. Since then, I've been trying to hold it together on my own. Work, home, the kids, I've torn myself apart to keep everything afloat. 4 years, I've been financially supporting my family. Ever since they said my father's pension wasn't enough, I've sent them 2,000 euros every month. With the money from Marcus's life insurance, I've paid their rent and covered their bills. I did it not out of duty, but out of love. But now, in this room, bleeding out and with no one to look after my children, all they can tell me is that I'm a burden. "Elina, enough is enough," my father said, sitting beside my mother during the video call. His hands rested in his lap, his face wearing that usual exasperated expression. "We're retired, we want to enjoy our lives. We're tired of you constantly asking for something. Even your sister Lara isn't this demanding." Lara, the golden child. 28, she still lives in my parents' house, works part-time at an art gallery, and has always been their pride and joy. My university graduation? They barely noticed because Lara had her paintings displayed in an exhibition that same week. When I married Marcus, they criticized our wedding. It was too far from Frankfurt, they complained. When the twins were born, they cut their visit short, saying, "They're too noisy." Tears slide silently down my cheeks, dripping onto the hospital blanket. Sabine looks up at me. Middle-aged, with short black hair, her eyes hold a tired but kind expression. "Are you okay?" she asks, her voice soft but distant. "Can't your family come?" I shake my head, too drained to speak. Somewhere inside me, an anger I've suppressed for years awakens. How much have I given them? Time, money, love. And now, when I need them most, they've abandoned me for a concert. "Luca, don't hit the bear on the floor, sweetie," I say in a weak voice. My son looks at me, his big brown eyes lighting up with a smile, and he slams the toy down again. Mila sits beside him, pushing her car back and forth. I have to be strong for them. I've told myself this ever since Marcus died. He was my rock. "Family shouldn't be like this, Elina," he'd say often. "We'll build our own family, one filled with love and connection." And we did. Our little home was full of laughter and warm dinners. But that train accident took everything from me. Now, what's left of my family has left me alone in this room to go to a concert with Lara. Sabine comes over, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Do you want me to call someone? A friend, a neighbor, anyone?" she asks. Clara comes to mind immediately. My childhood friend, a therapist, and a wonderful mother. But I don't want to bother her at this hour on Christmas Eve. Till I have no other choice. Can you call Clara? I say, my voice shaky. Her number's in my phone. Sabine takes the phone, finds the number, and dials. As she speaks, I lie back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. My mother's voice still lingers in my mind. Leave us alone, Elina. My father's words cut deeper. You've become a real nuisance. 4 years I've tried to earn their love. I'm exhausted from competing with Laura. But this moment in this cold hospital room has changed something. A decision is growing inside me, unformed yet, but powerful. Maybe I don't need them anymore. Maybe they never truly loved me. Sabine hangs up and returns to my side. Clara will be here in an hour, she says. She said she gets along great with the kids and will take them home to wait for you. She pauses, then adds, we need to prep you for surgery. Don't worry, everything will be okay. I turn my eyes to my twins. Luca now clutches his bear to his chest, and Mila holds her car in her lap. I have to live for them. I have to find myself again for them. My phone still lies on the bed, its screen dark. I consider sending my family one last message but decide against it. It's time to cut ties with them. Maybe this surgery will save not just my body but my soul too. Lying on the hospital bed, the flickering fluorescent light is palpable even behind my closed eyelids. Pain in my abdomen ebbs and flows, sometimes sharp like a knife, sometimes settling into a deep ache. But the real pain grows somewhere deeper, a void swelling in the center of my chest. My mother's voice still rings in my ears. The Leonard Cohen tribute concert, Elina, we can't miss it. My father's cold, judgmental gaze lingers in my mind like a shadow. You've always been a burden. For years, I've torn myself apart to earn their love, but in this room, in this fragile moment, I'm forced to face the truth. I was never enough for them. Nurse Sabine finishes writing something on the monitor in the corner and approaches me. Clara's on her way, she says, her voice carrying a tired but genuine warmth. She'll take the twins home and stay with them until the surgery's over. I nod faintly, too drained to even say thank you. My eyes drift to Luca and Mila. Luca clutches his blue plush bear to his chest, his tiny fingers gripping the fabric tightly. Mila cradles her toy car, spinning its wheels gently with her finger. Their innocence both fuels the storm inside me and somehow soothes it. I'm here for you, I whisper to myself. No matter what. Sabine places a hand on my shoulder, her touch gentle yet firm. We need to get you ready, Elina. The doctor will be here in 5 minutes. I fix my gaze on the ceiling, and the stark white surface plays a reel of childhood memories like a film strip. Lara's birthday parties, the colorful sweaters Mom knitted for her, Dad praising her paintings endlessly. My achievements? I didn't even get a congratulations when I graduated from university. Mom had said, Lara has an exhibition, we need to get there. I remember swallowing my tears that day, clutching my diploma. No one noticed except Marcus. He was the only one who was ever truly there for me. Marcus. Just his name stirs a warmth inside me, quickly followed by that awful emptiness. Everything fell apart 6 months ago when I lost him in that damn train accident. Our little home in Berlin, once filled with laughter, is now just a space scattered with the twins' toys. Marcus used to say, your family doesn't deserve you, Elina. We'll build our own happiness. And we did. When Luca and Mila were born, it felt like a fresh start. But that accident, a drunk engineer's negligence, took everything from me. Since then, I've been fighting alone, trying to build a life for my kids and myself. And my family? They've turned their backs on me throughout it all. My phone sits on the bed, its screen dark. For a moment, I consider picking it up and texting my mother. I imagine begging, please come back for my kids. But then my father's voice echoes in my mind again. We're retired now, we don't have to deal with your problems. For 3 years I've sent them money. With Marcus's life insurance and stretching my own salary, €2,000 every month. I paid their rent, covered their bills, even funded Lara's art supplies. I did it out of love to keep my ties with them alive. But now, in this room, bleeding out and with no one to care for my children, their only concern is a concert. The door opens and the doctor steps in. Middle-aged, gray-haired, with a tired but confident look behind his glasses. "Ms. Voss, your condition is serious but under control," he says. "Your appendix has ruptured and we need to operate immediately." I nod, my voice gone. Sabine drapes another blanket over me, then turns to Luca and Mila. "I'll be here until Claire arrives, don't worry," she says. Her small kindness breaks something inside me. The compassion my family couldn't offer, I'm receiving from this stranger. As the doctor and Sabine leave the room, my eyes linger on my twins. Luca has dropped his bear and is reaching for it. Mila presses her car to her chest, looking at me with sleepy eyes. "Mommy will be okay," I say, my voice shaky but resolute. I have to live for them. But not just survive, I need to truly live. I need to break free from my family's shadow and find my own strength. The door opens again and Clara walks in. Her long brown hair spills over her shoulders, her eyes carrying that familiar warmth. "Elina," she says, her voice laced with concern but calm. "Sabine called me, I came right away." She sits beside me, taking my hand. "I'll take the kids home, you focus on getting better." Tears well up again, but this time not from pain, gratitude. "Thank you," I whisper. "I shouldn't have asked you on Christmas Eve." "Don't even mention it," she says, squeezing my hand. "I'm always here for you." She turns to Luca and Mila, smiling. "All right, little travelers, let's head home." Luca grabs his bear and runs to her, while Mila, hesitant at first, eventually follows. Clara scoops them up, gives me one last look, and says, "Be strong, Elina. Everything will be all right," before leaving the room. I'm alone again. The doctor returns, and they begin prepping me for surgery. As they place the mask over my face, a thought takes shape inside me. This isn't just an operation. It's the beginning of my liberation from my family's selfishness, from the burdens I've carried for years. As my eyes close, I hear Marcus's voice. "You're enough, Elina." Maybe he was right. Maybe it's finally time to believe it. The chill of the operating room seeps into my skin. As they place the mask over my face, the sharp antiseptic smell burns my nostrils. My eyes are fixed on the bright light above, but my mind is far away. The doctor's voice pulls me back to reality. "Take a deep breath now, Elina." I inhale, and it's not just oxygen. It's an attempt to expel the toxic ties I've carried inside for years. My eyelids grow heavy, the light blurs, and then everything fades into darkness. When I wake, my throat is dry, a metallic taste lingers in my mouth. As I crack my eyes open, the familiar gray walls of the hospital room come into focus. The pain in my abdomen is still there, but it's more of an echo now, its sharpness dulled, replaced by a muted ache. I turn my head and see Sabine. She's holding a tablet, checking something. Noticing me, she smiles, that tired, heartfelt smile of hers. "Welcome back," she says. "The surgery went well. You'll be discharged in a few days." "My kids!" My voice is hoarse, feeble. Sabine answers quickly. "They're with Clara at home, don't worry. She called this morning to talk to you, but we waited for you to wake up." A wave of relief washes over me, but it's swiftly followed by that familiar emptiness. No one from my family has called or checked in. My phone still lies on the bed, its screen devoid of a single notification. It'd be foolish to expect a message from my mother, father, or Lara, I know that. Yet a tiny part of me, a remnant of childhood hope, flickers briefly before fading away. As Sabine leaves the room, I glance at the small window by the bed. Snow is falling outside. Frankfurt streets are blanketed in white, the glow of Christmas lights reflecting on the glass. Normally, this scene would warm my heart. I met Marcus on a winter day like this. We were in a cafe in the city center. I was sitting with a coffee cup in hand when he approached me, grinning, and said, "It should be a crime to sit alone in weather like this." In that moment, with his warm smile, I felt truly seen for the first time. While my family kept me in the shadows, Marcus brought me into the light. But he's gone now. And my family, they were never really there for me. My eyes well up, but this time I don't cry. Something inside me is shifting, anger, determination, I can't quite name it. Maybe it's both. I pick up my phone and unlock the screen. A message from Clara. "Luca and Mila are fine, they miss you so much. Rest, we'll see you soon." I smile, but it's bittersweet. Then my eyes drift to the bank statements, 2,000 euros sent to my family every month. Even after Marcus died, even while I wrestled with depression, I thought of them. But now? That money could build a future for Luca and Mila. Maybe a daycare, a vacation, or just some breathing room. The door knocks and Clara steps in. She's wearing a thick coat, holding 2 coffee cups. "Hospital coffee is awful, you know that," she says with a laugh, handing me one. She sits in the chair by my bed, keeping her coat on. "How are the kids?" I ask immediately. "They're amazing," she says. Luca spent all morning conquering the house with his bear, and Mila turned the kitchen into a racetrack with her car. We tired them out, they're napping now. The compassion in her eyes fills that void inside me, if only for a moment. "Thank you," I say, my voice trembling. "I shouldn't have put this on you." Clara waves her hand dismissively. "Nonsense. I'm here for you always." She pauses, then asks, "Your family? Have they said anything?" I shake my head, staring down at my coffee cup. "They're at the concert," I say, my tone edged with sarcasm. Clara's eyebrows shoot up, then she sighs. "Elina, maybe it's not my place to say this, but they don't deserve you." Her words hang in the air, sharp but true. "I know," I whisper. "But accepting it, that's hard." Clara takes my hand, her warm palm enveloping my cold fingers. "It's hard but necessary. You're a mother, an incredible woman. For Luca, for Mila, for yourself, you're worth it." My eyes fill with tears, but these are different. Not from pain, but from a kind of freedom. "I gave them so much," I say. "Money, time, love, and it never came back." Clara nods. "Sometimes love is wasted on the wrong people. But that doesn't mean you don't deserve it." In that moment, something clarifies within me. The years spent with my family, living like a shadow sacrificed to Lara's brilliance, they all need to stay behind. I pick up my phone and open the banking app. I find the automatic payment I've made every month and press cancel. My fingers tremble, but it's a trembling born of relief. 2,000 euros. It's mine now, for a future I'll share with my children. Clara smiles. "A good start," she says. She takes a sip of her coffee, then adds, "When you get home, let's make a plan. You, the kids, me, a new chapter." I nod, feeling a spark of hope ignite inside me for the first time. Outside, snow falls, lights gleam. Maybe this Christmas isn't just an ending, but a beginning. The silence of the hospital room is broken only by the faint rustle of snow falling outside. After Clara leaves, the coffee cup in my hand is still warm, but the storm inside me seems to be slowly subsiding. I sit up on the bed, leaning against the pillow, my eyes drifting to the window. Frankfurt's snow-covered streets glow under the Christmas lights like a scene from a fairy tale. But in this tale, the princess isn't waiting to be rescued. She's decided to write her own story. My phone rests in my hand, the screen still displaying the confirmation of the cancelled automatic payment. 2,000 euros. Might seem like a small amount, but to me it's the first link in a chain, the beginning of my liberation from the invisible shackles my family placed around my neck. Sabine knocks and enters, carrying a tray. "Dinner time," she says, setting it on the bedside table. A steaming bowl of soup and a small piece of bread. "I'm not very hungry," I say, my voice still weak. Sabine raises an eyebrow. "Even if you're not, take a spoonful, it'll help you regain your strength. Your kids need you." Her words sink into me. Luca and Mila. Their little faces flash before my eyes. Luca's tight grip on his bear, Mila's quiet attachment to her car. She's right. I need to be strong for them, but this time not just for them, for myself too. I take a spoonful of soup, the warm liquid sliding down my throat and warming my insides. As Sabine leaves, my mind drifts to the past. My mother's voice, rushed and impatient. "We need to get to Lara's exhibition." My father's exasperated tone. "Elina, I wish you'd complain a little less." And Lara, always at the center, always perfect. I remember the hours spent in her room as a child. Her walls were covered in colorful drawings, my parents praising her artistic soul while I sat quietly in the corner. One day, I gathered the courage to show them a drawing of my own. My mother had said, "It's nice, but not as original as Lara's," without even glancing at it. Something broke inside me that day. But that fracture grew silently over the years, leading me to this hospital bed. I pick up my phone and open the gallery. The photos of Marcus and me are still there. In one, we're holding Luca and Mila in our arms, picnicking in Berlin's Tiergarten. Marcus's smile, the love in his deep brown eyes, still makes my heart tremble. "You're a miracle, Elina," he'd say. "If your family can't see that, it's their loss." Back then, I wanted to believe him, but that little girl inside me still craved my mother's approval. Now, in this room, with his voice echoing in my ears, I might finally believe it for the first time. Their loss. Not mine. The door knocks, and the doctor steps in. "How are you feeling?" he asks, glancing at his file. "Better," I say, and it's not a lie. The physical pain lingers, but the weight inside me is lifting. "We can discharge you tomorrow morning, but no heavy lifting for a few weeks," he says. "Do you have someone to help?" Clara's face comes to mind. "Yes," I say, smiling. "I do." He nods and leaves, and I lie back on the bed. My eyes drift to the window, where snowflakes gather on the glass. Each one is small, but together they form a blanket. Maybe I'm like that too. Small steps can rebuild my strength. That night, drifting between sleep and wakefulness, I dream. My mother, father, and Lara are on a stage, microphones in hand, singing Leonard Cohen songs. I'm in the audience, holding Luca and Mila, watching them. But then I stand, and with my children in tow, I walk away from the stage. As I exit through the door, their voices fade behind me. When I wake, there's an odd peace on my face. Was it a dream, or was my mind sending me a message? I don't know. But what I feel is real. I'm no longer a background player on their stage. By morning, Sabine sees me off with discharge papers. "Take care of yourself, Elina," she says, shaking my hand. "I will," I reply, my voice steady with resolve. As I leave the hospital, the snow crunches under my boots. Claire arrives to pick me up, Luca and Mila squealing with delight in the back seat. "Mommy!" Luca shouts, while Mila just smiles, holding out her car to me. Clara turns to me and says, "Welcome home." I get in the car and close the door. Outside snow falls, but inside me a spring is budding. When we reach home, Clara takes the kids inside. I pause for a moment, lingering at the doorstep. I pull out my phone and find my family's number. My fingers hover over the block button. I take a breath, then press it. the screen goes dark, and in that instant the final link in the chain breaks. Stepping inside, Luca runs and hugs my legs while Mila shows me her bear from the couch. Clara's in the kitchen, putting on tea. "For a new beginning?" she asks with a laugh. "Yes," I say, my voice carrying a strength I haven't heard in years. A new beginning. When I get home, the moment I open the door, I hear Luca's tiny feet pounding the floor. "Mommy! Mommy!" he shouts, running toward me. I open my arms and lift him up, the stitches in my abdomen twinging slightly, but the pain melts away in the warmth of his laughter. Mila sits in the corner of the couch, holding her toy car, watching me quietly. There's that familiar calm in her eyes, but a small smile curves her lips. Clara pokes her head out of the kitchen, 2 tea mugs in hand. "Come inside, Elina, you'll catch a cold," she says with a laugh. I slip off my boots and step in, realizing in that moment that this little apartment feels like the home I've longed for all these years. We take our tea and settle on the couch, Luca clambering into my lap while Mila curls up beside me. Clara starts. "The twins were quite lively last night. Luca thought he was conquering the house with his bear, and Mila turned the kitchen tiles into a racetrack with her car." I smile, a wave of peace spreading through me. Hearing them so happy. "You don't know how much that means to me," I say, my voice still tinged with the hospital's exhaustion but carrying a glimmer of hope beneath it. Clara nods. "I'm proud of you, Elina. Even in that hospital room, you didn't give up." I take a sip of tea, the warm liquid soothing me as my mind drifts back. My family's faces, their indifferent expressions, float into view. My mother's, "We can't miss the concert," my father's, "You become a burden." But this time, those memories don't crush me. The moment I blocked them, that little confirmed message on my phone screen shut a door inside me. Still, a question nags at my mind. What if they regret it someday? What if they show up at my door? I push the thought away. I need to live for myself now, not for them. Clara sets her tea on the table and turns to me. "I've got a question," she says, a slight hesitation in her voice. "Your family. They didn't call at all." I shake my head. "Not once." I fix my eyes on Luca's hair, my fingers playing with his soft curls. "I don't think I care anymore," I say, though as the words leave my lips, I'm not entirely sure. Clara sighs. "Sometimes the hardest part isn't stopping loving them, it's accepting they didn't love you back." Her words pierce my heart, but this time it doesn't hurt. She's right. And that truth sets me free. The rest of the day passes in ordinary yet precious moments. While Clara plays with the kids, I prepare something for dinner in the kitchen. The smell of frying potatoes fills the apartment. Luca runs in shouting, "I'm hungry," and Mila quietly takes her seat at the table, fork in hand. As we sit down to eat, my eyes catch Marcus's empty chair. 6 months ago, if he were here, this table would be ringing with his laughter. Now, though the chair is empty, our table still feels warm. "We're enough," I say to myself, and the thought makes me smile. By nightfall, Clara heads home. "I'll stop by tomorrow," she says at the door, pulling on her coat. "Call me if you need a plan." After seeing her off, I tuck the kids into bed. Luca falls asleep, clutching his bear to his chest, while Mila places her car beside her pillow. I leave their door ajar and return to the living room. Sitting on the couch with a glass of water, my gaze drifts to the old photos on the wall. That picnic day with Marcus, the birthday parties my family never attended. But now, looking at them, I feel not a lack, but a fullness. My phone buzzes. I glance at the screen, a notification from the bank. "Your automatic payment cancellation has been confirmed." I smile. That 2,000 euros is under my control now. Maybe I'll enroll Luca and Mila in daycare or take a course for myself. Graphic design or maybe writing. The idea of reigniting that creative spark from my university days excites me. My family always praised Lara as the artist, but perhaps I can create something too. My own story with my own hands. Lying in bed, I stare at the ceiling in the dark. Sides, snow still falls, forming a little blanket against my window. A voice echoes in my mind, Marcus's voice. "You're enough, Elina." I close my eyes, and that night, for the first time, I believe myself. My family may have left me in the shadows, but I'm finding my own light now. Step by step, slowly but with determination. The next morning my phone rings, not a call but a message. It's from work. "Elina, we hope you're doing well. Your spot's waiting whenever you're ready to return." I smile. Maybe this is another door opening for a fresh start. I wake the kids, calling, "Time to get up, breakfast time." Luca leaps out of bed while Mila hugs me with sleepy eyes. In the kitchen, as I make pancakes, I hum a tune. Life, despite all its hardships, feels beautiful again. The smell of pancakes fills the air in the kitchen as Luca circles the table, asking, "Aren't they ready yet?" with impatient glee in his voice. Mila sits in her chair, tapping her spoon lightly on the table, keeping a quiet rhythm. Standing at the counter, spatula in hand, I smile. This morning, for the first time since returning from the hospital, I feel truly at home. I plate the pancakes and bring them to the table. Luca snatches one immediately, while Mila carefully extends her fork. "Eat slowly, don't burn yourselves," I say, but inwardly I'm marveling at how watching their little chaos warms me. For breakfast, I leave the dishes in the sink. My phone sits on the table, the message from work still open on the screen. "Whenever you're ready to return, your spot's waiting." I've been a project assistant at a graphic design agency, but I've been on leave since Marcus's death. My colleagues have been understanding, but now, with this message, I feel it's time to make a decision. Should I enroll the kids in daycare? Or stay home a bit longer? As these questions swirl in my mind, Luca runs over and grabs my arm. "Mommy, can we go to the park?" Mila looks up at me, her eyes quietly approving. "Okay," I say, a spark of energy igniting inside me. "But let's get dressed first." I take them to their room, bundling them into thick sweaters, coats, and scarves. I glance at myself in the mirror. The hospital pallor still lingers on my face, but there's a new brightness in my eyes. We lock the door and step outside, the snow crunching under our boots. This little Berlin neighborhood, with its snow-draped streets and smoking chimneys, looks like a postcard. Luca races ahead while Mila holds my hand, walking beside me with calm steps. The park, Luca slides down the slide and Mila sits on the swing as I give her a gentle push. Cold air fills my lungs, but it feels clean, fresh. Sitting on a bench by the swings, my eyes drift to the other families in the park. Mothers, fathers, children. Laughter and joyful shrieks echo through the air. For a moment I think of Marcus. If he were here, he'd hoist Luca onto his shoulders and send Mila soaring on the swing. But then a voice rises within me. "You're enough!" The thought both saddens and strengthens me. Yes, Marcus is gone. But I'm here, doing my best for my kids. My phone rings and I check the screen. It's Clara. "How are you?" she asks, her voice as warm as ever. "We're at the park," I say. "Getting some air with the kids." "Nice," she replies. "How about tonight? I could bring dinner and we can hang out." I smile. "Sure, but this time let me make something." "You rest." Clara laughs. "Deal. I'll be there around 7. As I hang up, a wave of gratitude washes over me. My family may have abandoned me, but a friend like Clara changes everything. On the way back from the park, I take Luca and Mila to the grocery store. I plan a simple dinner, baked chicken and vegetables. Cashier smiles as she hands me the bags. "What a lovely family." "Thank you," I say, and her words leave an echo inside me. Yes, we are a family. Small, imperfect, but real. Back home, I set the kids in the living room and head to the kitchen. As I chop vegetables, my mind drifts to the past again. My mother's, "We need money for Lara's exhibition." My father's, "Elina, stop being so costly." I supported them for years, but they never truly needed me. To them, I was a wallet, a shadow. But not anymore. When Clara arrives, the smell of food hits her as soon as I open the door. "Wow, Elina, you've turned into a chef," she teases, holding a bottle of wine. We set the table, and Luca and Mila eagerly fill their plates. Over dinner, Clara talks about her work as a therapist, mentioning projects she does with kids. "Maybe you should do something too," she says suddenly, setting her fork down. "Like what?" I ask, my eyebrows rising. "Something creative," she says. "You used to talk about drawing, designing. Going back to work is great, but maybe a side project? For yourself." Her words spark something in me. I studied graphic design in university, but my family's indifference and life's demands buried that part of me. "I don't know," I say. "Maybe. I'll think about it." Clara smiles. "Think about it, Elina. I'd love to see you drawing again." After dinner, I tuck the kids into bed. Clara lingers in the living room, wine glass in hand, watching me. "You're different today," she says. "Your eyes are shining." I smile. Maybe I'm starting over. That night, lying in bed, I open my laptop. I look at my old drawings, university projects, little sketches I made for Marcus. My fingers wander over the keyboard, searching for an art course. I find one in Berlin 2 evenings a week. The fee could be covered by the 2,000 euros I'm no longer sending my family. Why not? I say to myself. As I fill out the application, excitement stirs within me. This isn't just a course, it's a chance I'm giving myself. Outside snow falls, but my room is warm. The sound of Luca and Mila's breathing drifts from the hallway. My phone stays silent, no word from my family. But this time, the silence doesn't scare me. 'Cause I'm stepping out of the shadows. Step by step, I'm finding my own light. When I wake up, gray light filters through the window, filling my room. It's one of Berlin's dreary winter days, but there's a strange energy inside me. I rouse Luca and Mila from their beds. Luca clutches his bear with sleepy eyes, while Mila retrieves her car from under her pillow. "Come on, breakfast time," I say, my voice echoing last night's resolve. In the kitchen, the crackle of the toaster and the scent of coffee fill the air as I open my laptop on the table. An email from the art course I applied for last night has arrived. "Elina Voss, your registration is confirmed. Your first class is December 27th at 6 p.m. Welcome." My heart races, my fingers pausing over the keyboard. Did I really do it? Through all these years, have I started something for myself? I sit the kids at the table, placing toast and milk in front of them. Luca asks, "Mommy, what are we doing today?" his mouth smeared with jam. "I've got some things to take care of," I say, "but this afternoon we'll play, okay?" Mila nods, looking at me with calm eyes. Their innocence fuels my excitement even more. I pick up my phone and type a message to my workplace. "I'll be back at the start of January, thank you." Hitting send brings a wave of relief. Work, the kids, the course. My life is taking shape again, and this time I'm in control. Midday, Clara calls. "I heard about the course," she says, her voice brimming with cheer. "Did I forward you the email?" I ask, surprised. "Yep, at midnight," she laughs. "You clearly didn't sleep." I smile. I was excited. "You should be," she says. "This is a big step for you. What'll you do with the kids on class nights?" I pause. "I need to find a daycare," I say, "or maybe a sitter." Clara jumps in. "I'll watch them for the first few classes. You can figure something out after that." Gratefully, I ask, "Clara, are you an angel?" Her laughter spills through the phone. No, just your friend. In the afternoon, I set Luca and Mila up in the living room with coloring books. As they fill the pages with crayons, I dig out an old sketchbook. Flipping through it, my university sketches catch my eye. Berlin's gray streets, Marcus's smiling face, a fantastical garden from my imagination. My fingers grasp a pencil, and with an urge I haven't felt in years, I draw a line on the paper. It's shaky at first, but then grows steadier. Mila looks up. Mommy, what are you drawing? A tree, I say, extending the branches. Luca runs over and plops beside me. I want to draw too, he shouts. The three of us play with colors on the paper, and our home fills with laughter. That evening, when Clara arrives, I open the door with my sketchbook in hand. Wow, she says, the artist is back. I smile. Not yet, but I'm getting there. I leave the kids with her and head to the kitchen to warm up yesterday's chicken. Over dinner, Clara asks about the course. What are you hoping for? I don't know, I say honestly. To find myself again, I guess. My eyes drift to the sketchbook on the table. My family always praised Laura, I add, my voice tinged with an old wound. They wouldn't even look at my drawings. Clara sets her fork down and takes my hand. Their loss, Elina. Those who refuse to see you can't dim your light. December 27th arrives, the first night of the course. Clara stays with the kids at home, and I step outside, pulling on my coat. Snow crunches under my boots, a bag slung over my shoulder with my sketchbook, pencils, and a thermos of coffee inside. The course is held in an old building in the city, a dimly lit studio. Inside, 10 or 15 people are gathered around tables, young adults, middle-aged folks, even a gray-haired man. The instructor, Anna, is a lively woman with long black hair. Everyone take a sheet of paper, she says. Today, we draw from feeling. Whatever comes to mind first. I pick up my pencil and hesitate. Then the hospital room surfaces in my mind, those cold walls, the snowflakes at the window. My lines flow onto the paper, the room's edges, the window, and finally, the silhouettes of Luca and Mila. As my pencil moves, a weight lifts from within me. When the class ends, Anna looks at my drawing. This is powerful, she says. I can feel what you felt. I thank her, but the real thanks goes to that little girl inside me, the one who stayed in the shadows for years but is now stepping into the light. Walking home, snow falls, but I don't feel cold. Clara opens the door and asks, How'd it go? Amazing, I say. And it's just the start. Lying in bed that night, I press my sketchbook to my chest. Side snow falls, inside is spring blooms. There's no word from my family, but their silence no longer wounds me. Because I'm finding my own voice with lines, with colors, step by step. The second week of the course arrives, and I step into the studio with pencils in hand and a fistful of courage. Side, Berlin's cold bites to the bone, but inside, the dim light and the smell of paint warm my soul. Anna announces, Today we're working with color, her voice brimming with that familiar energy. Table is strewn with watercolors, pastels, and tubes of acrylic paint. Pick an emotion and pour it into color, she adds. I pull my sketchbook from my bag and settle at the table, my eyes drifting to the paints. Which emotion? There's so much inside me. The loneliness of the hospital, my family's betrayal, Luca and Mila's laughter. But then a color catches my eye, orange. Warm, vibrant, full of hope. I take my pencil and let the lines flow onto the paper. I draw an orange sun first, then the silhouettes of Luca and Mila beneath it. As the sun's rays stretch to the edges of the page, I add blues and greens, the cold blue of the hospital, the peaceful green of our home. Colors blend together, and in that moment it's as if the chaos inside me unravels too. A young girl sitting beside me whispers, "That's beautiful." I smile, "Thank you." Anna approaches, looking at my work. This tells a story, she says. Your story, right? I nod, unable to find words. But inside I say, yes, this is me. When I get home, Clara's on the couch, having put Luca and Mila to bed. You're back early, she says with a surprised smile. The kids were worn out and I was flying from drawing, I reply, setting my sketchbook on the table. Clara opens it, and when she sees the orange sun with the twin silhouettes, her eyes light up. Elina, this is incredible, she says. There's an artist inside you that's been asleep. I laugh, I think it's awake now. After Clara leaves that night, I sit in the living room with my sketchbook. Luca and Mila's breathing fills their room as I open a new page. This time I draw myself, pencil in hand, a smile on my face. With my colors, I'm writing my own story. The next day my phone rings, it's my boss. Elina, you're coming back in January, right? She asks. Yes, I say, but I want to ask something. Of course, she replies, curiosity in her tone. Could I start part-time? I need some time for the kids and for myself. A brief silence, then, sure, we'll make it work, she says. When I hang up, relief washes over me. Work, the course, the kids. My life is like a puzzle, but the pieces are slowly falling into place. In the afternoon, I take Luca and Mila to the park. The snow has started to melt, leaving the ground muddy, but their joy is worth everything. Luca jumps in the muck, while Mila draws shapes in the dirt with a stick. Mommy, look, she calls, pointing to the circle she's made. Amazing, I say, and an idea strikes me. Back home, I clean them up and sit them at the table. Let's draw something, I say, setting out paper and paints. Luca draws a red car, Mila a blue flower. I join them, recreating my orange sun. The three of us, around the table, create a world with color. That night, lying in bed, my sketchbook still in hand, I feel calm. Outside, the wind howls, but inside me, there's peace. No word from my family, but this silence isn't a void anymore, it's freedom. I glance at my phone, a week until the next class. Until then, I'll keep drawing. Maybe one day, these sketches will hang in an exhibition. Not Lara's, mine. I smile, close my eyes. Colors seep into my dreams. The third week of the course brings a buzz to the studio. Anna announces, today's a challenge. Draw something broken and piece it back together. As I sit at the table, pencil in hand, my mind immediately turns to my family. I'm a broken family, my mother's indifference, my father's coldness, Lara's shadow. But then I think of Luca and Mila. They're the ones who mend my shattered pieces. I draw a mirror on the paper, cracked and fragmented. Yet in each shard there's a reflection, Luca's laughter, Mila's calm eyes, Marcus's smile, and in the center my own face. My lines start harsh, but as I add color they soften, reds, blues, oranges. The fractures dance, and the mirror becomes whole again. When the class ends, Anna looks at my drawing. This is profound, she says. There's both pain and hope. Yeah, I reply, like my life. Walking home, my sketchbook in my bag, I feel a swell of pride. Clara greets me at the door. What did you draw today? She asks. I hand her the sketchbook, and as she looks, her eyes well up. Elina, you're creating a masterpiece, she says. I smile. Not yet, but I'm on my way. The next day, I arrange a meeting with my workplace about my part-time return. My manager says, we've missed your designs, but I'm sure you'll do great work with this new schedule too. Leaving the meeting, coffee in hand, I walk the streets. The snow has melted, the air cold but crisp. Passing an art supply store, I stop. A canvas and paint sit in the window. I step inside and buy a small canvas and a few colors. Cashier asks, new project? Yes, I say, for myself. Back home, I pick up Luca and Mila from Clara. Thank you, I say with my usual gratitude. You're welcome, she replies, but find a sitter soon, I could use a break. We laugh, and after she leaves, I settle with the kids in the living room. I place the canvas on the table. Let's paint a picture, I say. Luca grabs a brush and dives into the red paint. Mila chooses blue. I take orange, and the three of us create a mess on the canvas. But it's our mess, chaotic, beautiful, real. That night, after the kids are asleep, I finish the canvas alone. I transfer my broken mirror onto it, but this time it's bigger, bolder. Colors spill from the brush, and when I'm done, I lean it against the wall. I grab my phone, snap a photo, and send it to the course's group chat. Anna replies instantly, "Elina, this is exhibition ready." I smile, but inside I say, "This is ready for me." The last day of the course arrives, and we're holding an exhibition in the studio. Anna had said last week, "Everyone bring your favorite piece." With my canvas in hand, I drop Luca and Mila off with Clara early in the morning and head out. Berlin's streets are quiet in January's freezing chill, but inside me, there's a spring breeze. I clutch my canvas tightly, the broken mirror, its pieces dancing with color, my story. When I reach the studio, the tables have been pushed aside and drawings line the walls. The other students are arranging their work, laughing, while Anna bustles around. "Elina, put it here," she says, pointing to a corner. I lean my canvas against the wall, step back, and look. For the first time, I feel this much pride in something I've created. As the exhibition begins, the studio fills up. Students, their friends, a few art enthusiasts. People linger in front of the pieces, whispering, some jotting notes. I stand in my corner, gazing at my canvas. A woman approaches, in her 50s, curiosity gleaming behind her glasses. "Is this yours?" she asks, gesturing to my mirror. "Yes," I say, my voice trembling slightly. "It's striking," she says. "Broken, yet so whole. It feels like it has a story." I smile. "It does," I say. "My story." She nods and walks away, leaving a warmth spreading inside me. I remember my mother's praise at Lara's exhibitions, but this time, this moment is mine. And no one can take it from me. When the exhibition ends and I pack up my canvas, Anna comes over. "Elina, you found something in this course, didn't you?" she asks, her eyes sparkling. "Yes," I say, "myself." She laughs. "I'd love to see you again next time. You've got talent." I thank her and sling my bag over my shoulder. Stepping outside, snow has started again, fine flakes brushing my face. But I'm not cold, because inside me a sun burns, orange warm mine. On my way home, I call Clara. "How was the exhibition?" she asks right away. "Wonderful," I say. Like I was reborn. "The kids missed you," she says. "How about a celebration tonight?" "Absolutely," I reply, smiling. When I get home, Luca and Mila greet me at the door. Luca asks, "Mommy, what did you do?" while Mila takes my hand and pulls me inside. Clara has set the table with a simple dinner, pasta and salad. "You said celebration, but I didn't go overboard," she laughs. I place my canvas beside the table and Luca immediately asks, "What's this?" "It's our picture," I say. "You, Mila, and me." Mila smiles and whispers, "Pretty." Over dinner, Clara raises her wine glass. "To new beginnings," she says. I lift mine too. "And to our own sons." Luca and Mila join in with their milk cups and laughter fills the table. In that moment, I think of Marcus. I wish he were here, but I know if he's watching from somewhere, he's smiling. "You're enough, Elina," he'd say. I believe it now. After the kids are asleep that night, I sit in the living room. My phone is on the table, silent. No word from my family, but this silence isn't a wound anymore. It's a victory. The years I spent trying to win their love, the sacrifices I made, they're all behind me. I pick up my sketchbook and open a new page. This time I draw a garden, flowers, trees, and in the center 3 silhouettes, Luca, Mila, and me. With my colors, I create my own world. The next morning, I return to work part-time. Sitting at my desk, I look at my old projects, but with new eyes. I want to leave my mark on my designs, my own colors. In the afternoon, I enroll Luca and Mila in a daycare. As they meet friends in the playroom, I wait outside. The director says, "They're so sweet. You're a wonderful mom." I smile. I'm doing my best. Back home, I hang my canvas on the wall. In the hallway between Luca and Mila's rooms, my broken mirror gazes at us. Every day as I pass it, I see those dancing pieces, my pain, my hope, and most importantly, my strength. My family may have left me in the shadows, but I'm not there anymore. I've created my own sun, and with Luca and Mila, it shines brighter each day. Outside snow falls, but our home is warm. My sketchbook is on the table, pencil in hand. I draw because I know now, even from broken pieces, life can craft a masterpiece. And that masterpiece is me.